make you feel like you're on a cloud and you can't sit still when we on the floor and I'm on them fours and you use the force, there's no problem. I will carve it in and I'll make you feel like you're on cloud.
Welcome to the 4th episode of Us Talking. I'm your host, Finnegan Tuig.
I'm your co-host, TJ Parrish.
And today we have a very special guest, Emmy Mono.
How are you, Emmy?
Me and Emmy just came back from a 4-hour bus ride to Provo. And so now I have a slight headache and I'm still a little motion sick. So that might add some nice spice to the rest of the podcast.
Just as you guys are slowly falling asleep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'll
on
end up
those
hosting
4
it.
hours, I was asleep for 2 of them.
Yeah, and so
better.
were our teachers. Everyone took a little nap halfway through.
Yeah, makes sense.
I did want to start with, because TJ, we both went to the same elementary school, and I have a bunch of good stories from elementary school. Do you have any fun kid stories?
No, I mean, I guess
No.
one. They're coming back to me right now. But it's like one of those things that you kind of think about randomly at the night, like when you can't go to sleep and you're like, why did I do that as a child?
Oh yeah.
It's one of those things. Off the top of my head, you should start. Because you should start.
Off the top of my head, you should start.
Yeah, you should start.
Well, was it with the two of us? I distinctly remember building little houses for bugs, and then being mildly upset when the bugs didn't like the houses I built for them.
That's really
Wasn't
cute.
that with leaves and sticks or something? Yeah,
You'd get
I
4
remember doing
pine
that.
cones. Yeah, and then you put an ant inside
And it would walk out and we'd be like, no, you stupid little shit.
back in your home.
My brother did that when a vole lived in his window well. He named it Lil Chauncey and built him a little home. And then he went in it though.
That's really funny.
Yeah, we dealt with something a lot less intelligent than a mole or a vole, and it just kept walking.
Oh my gosh, we would also... Do you remember any games we played? Oh my gosh, I had to hiccup. Do you remember any games we played on the playground as kids?
No, I mean, a lot of them were very imaginative, but I remember one where it snowed like crazy one year, and there was we were short. I was short at least.
Shorties.
So, I mean, I don't remember, it was the snow that year was I guess just below rib cage height or something.
So 2 feet tall.
So yeah, 2 feet tall. And we would attempt to jump diving into the snow, and you could have to see how far you'd have to get into the snow.
That's pretty awesome.
That was a challenge we had one recess.
Head first?
Head first.
Yeah.
AIDS are just coming to pick you guys out of the snow.
No, nobody came by and said anything. They probably just saw 3 of us just jump and dive.
That's wonderful.
One time, the kid just doesn't come back up from the snow.
Yeah. Just his feet out of the snow.
I remember one time there was 3 different playgrounds, and one of them was the preschool playground. You could go in between all 3, but there was one that was really little, specifically for preschoolers, and there's a half step to get onto the next platform, and there's probably half a foot, maybe a foot of gap under that step, and I distinctly remember crawling in there and hiding from recesses in
nobody
kindergarten.
can see me when there's this much room,
Yeah.
and they can see you from the top of your head to the top of your mouth.
Yeah. Yes. I also, because they just tore down where we both went to
Dude,
elementary
it's so
school.
sad. I drove past that and I was really depressed that day. And I ruined my day when that happened.
Yeah. But they let us go in one last time to look around and buy things. That's where I bought the podcast chair for $1 that Emmy's sitting on right now.
Bought a swivel chair for $1.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But it's fun to go back and see the drinking fountains and stuff, because they're just to your knee, and the preschoolers have to reach up to drink out of them.
It's a weird memory to be distinctly that short, and then come back and you're wait, it really wasn't that short.
And just all the desks and stuff, I'm I remember being well, my legs don't reach, and now I'm oh my goodness, it's an inch tall.
This is made for
an ant.
wee little
Babies.
For the ant homes you build.
Let's put a kid in one.
Yeah.
Do you have any weird elementary school stories, Emmy?
I also don't remember a lot of them. In like first grade though, we all like had this fake class pet that was just imaginary, but we all just decided that we thought it was real. And so we were like, some kid brought a box from home and would just like carry it around all day and be like, no, he's in there. And then he'd be like, do you want to hold it? And we'd just like pick up like nothing and then hand it to somebody else. And meanwhile, my whole memory of this is like in the bathroom of like the first grade hallway. Yeah, and like we talked about it with some kids who were in my class from first grade recently, and we're like, yeah, that was pretty weird.
I remember that thing we did when we were weird.
Yeah, we were weird.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, when I remember one recess or something, I was like, I'm getting married, or like I was just like, I really wanted to have like a fake wedding party or something during lunch recess, and then the school was like, no, you can't like close off a classroom to like have
what you asked for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think I asked the teacher, and she's like go to the attendance office, and then I did after school, and they're like, no, you can't.
I love how she like directs you somewhere, like giving you hope that there's the possibility this is gonna happen.
That's really funny.
She just didn't want to deal with telling me no.
That you can't plan a wedding.
At a public school.
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
There's also one time, I think it might have also been first grade. Maybe we were just like crazy. But there was like a mouse that was like in a glove or something that was on the other side of the fence. And I told
you told me.
Yeah. And everybody was just like, it's a ghost. Like there's something trying to get us. And so nobody would like go out during recess. We just like wouldn't go in the field. And so we had to, or like I went home later that day and the first grade teachers had to email everyone's parents to be like, there's not a ghost in the outside. Like, not a ghost in the field. It's just a glove that got left there.
Yeah.
Like, and so we were all just like freaking out about just like this thing that was not real.
Imagine how many emails they have to send like that, just back and forth between parents. And the parents are so confused. They're like, why is this happening? They're like, we don't know.
Yeah, I caused that a lot as a child.
Or like fifth grade, there's, I don't know, someone on the internet was like, murder clowns. There are murder clowns at your school.
I remember that.
And like someone scared someone else by a tree, and then all the kids were like, there's clowns out there.
I distinctly remember like we went out for like a fire drill, and there was like one of our classmates pointed out something behind a bush that looked like weirdly like a clown. We're like, oh my god, guys, it's right there. And we were all like turned around and like, what? And started screaming and freaking out, and it was terrible.
Yeah. Do you remember when they would bring the firefighters to our elementary school, and they had this fake room portable that they drive up, and then they'd fill it with smoke and like teach you to leave?
Really?
I remember that. Yeah, we had like weird, like very like detailed fire drills. But it was like for like an at-home drill, I think. At-home drill training. Or
I
something.
wish. That sounds really, really crazy.
I don't remember anything but besides like getting on all fours and like crawling my way under the smoke out. It was horrible.
It was kind of cool.
It was really fun though.
That does sound fun. We always just got yelled at while we like hopped the ditch. Like babies. Yeah. Oh, back on the clowns though, when I was in elementary school, everybody was like, they're clowns at Logan High. Like, yeah. And then like 2 years ago, I was like, oh my goodness, they're like that's a thing that happened. And I'm like, I have been in the basement and I can confirm that I've seen no clowns.
A significant lack of clowns.
Yeah. Oh, should we not release our school information?
I don't know. I when you said it, I was like, no one's listening to these podcasts.
Yes, in my nondescript high school I attend now.
Yeah.
Should I not have a case on my phone?
It doesn't matter. It
doesn't.
doesn't.
It really doesn't matter.
No,
I
you guys just
didn't
have
put mine on
professional
today.
microphone.
Everyone will know you're new.
Yeah, my echoey audio.
You're a guest, not a host.
Yeah. Degrade my audio quality so they know I'm less important.
You're always a little quieter. off in like the left ear the whole time. Just really
I
quiet.
hate
Sounds
that.
like I'm just like, hey guys.
If it's like studio audio, what am I saying? Anyway, there's a type of audio that like will cut it to one earbud or something.
Oh, gross.
And yeah, it's terrible because all you hear is just anything on that one, and you're like, I have both in. Why can't I just play it in both, even if it is louder on this one side?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like older music is like that, like the Beatles and stuff. It'll just be audio or like lyrics in one ear and then just like weird drum instrumentals
It's
in
hard
the
to
other.
listen to because it's
yeah,
like
you can't share
confusing.
earbuds with people.
Dude, these lyrics are awesome. What are you talking
Someone's just
about?
getting, someone's getting the 4-minute like drum solo with the flute.
There's a podcast I know that will do that where they have 4 people on the podcast, and so they'll have 2 conversations going on at the same time, but in either ear.
Ew.
Like that.
That's so
It's
terrible.
pretty intense. Yeah. Yeah, so we should start doing that.
We should.
With the 3
Definitely.
people, someone's just talking to themselves and the other 2 are talking to each other.
Random background noises of somebody talking. And it's just in one ear, not played in the other.
Yeah. Also, when I was in elementary school, I think it was 3rd grade, I broke my arm because it's the only time I've ever broken a bone because my babysitter, I think it was called Airplane. She would have us sit on her feet while she laid on her back on the ground, and then she'd kick her feet out and like throw us into the air.
I was kind of concerned when you said airplane because I imagined like you as like a 2-year-old just like running around with your arms extended, and then it ran into like a door or something, not you being thrown across the room.
No,
Yeah.
we were airborne.
I also played that game,
Yeah.
but I was the one throwing the airplane kid, who was my brother, who is not that much younger than me. He's like 2 years younger than me, so we're like the same size. And one time I like double legs like launched him into like the wall or like my suitcase on a vacation or something. And so he was just like in my suitcase, just like unwell because I threw him across my grandparents' house.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened to me. And then I was just in the air, and then I land, and my arm really started to hurt. Actually, it was more my wrist. Yeah, my wrist really hurt. And then we went back to my house, which was just a walk across the street. And she called her then boyfriend and now husband, who was a EMT or doctor or something in the medical field. And he was like, touch the wrist and like had me do these things. And he's like, does that hurt? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, does that hurt? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, and then the next day we went to the hospital, and it's a really weird interaction. Have either of you broken an arm or not an arm, but broken a bone before?
I haven't.
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet.
No, knowing my tendencies, I am bound to eventually
Yeah,
break
that's
bones.
fair. I trip a lot.
Yeah, but you just go to the normal doctor, and then like you're not in an emergency. You're just kind of sitting there with this useless arm for a while.
Like, guys, I can't move it. It just kind of hurts, but like, could you help me?
Yeah, and they're like, "Can you sign this?" And you're like, "No."
Sign this? No.
And then they bring you to the back, and you're like, "Yeah, that's broken."
That's pretty awesome.
And then when they take it off, it's this because I had a cast for
I
like.
thought you meant your arm. They take your arm off.
Yeah, so they cut it
Let's
off.
just dislocate this for a second and inspect it. We'll just like snap back on like a Lego.
Like a Lego. I hate that.
Yeah, but when they so I had a cast on for like half a year, and when they take it off, they use a drill that doesn't spin; it just vibrates.
Yeah, it
so
shimmies back and forth basically.
yeah,
And so,
it's really weird. So like young 3rd grade me was really scared of it because I thought she was just going to cut my arm off again. But then afterwards, nothing has touched your skin for like half a year. It's awful. It's an awful
terrible.
experience.
It's like
yeah.
leaving out a Band-Aid for too long.
Yeah,
And
but
like
your
I've had
whole
people
arm.
describe it like that, but it's your entire like a whole leg
Yeah.
or something, and it's just this terrible like smelly experience, and
My
nobody
brother-
loves it.
My older brother snapped his leg in 4 spots.
Oh.
And so he had a cast from like his foot all the way up to like basically his hip.
Oh,
so like he
geez.
could move his hip, but he couldn't move any of his leg. And it was like
Just peg legging
so
away.
small when he got his cast off because he just like couldn't move and it was like so white. It was awful. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you two ever had like a silly injury or something like that?
I've fallen out of like a tree, if that counts.
I think it counts.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's been times where like I've cut myself and I needed stitches, but like that's been the worst of it.
Okay.
Yeah, like the silly point. I guess the silliest one was I one morning got up and like grabbed a bowl of cereal or something, right? But as I was bringing the bowl to the sink, it slipped and cracked and broke all over the floor. And so as I was cleaning it up, I'm throwing it out in the garbage and stuff, right? And so I go to school, I come back, and my mom tells me, you need to take out the trash tonight. And so as I'm doing so, I like attempt to throw it in there because I'm short and can't get in there. And my hand is also holding the lid open. And so that same broken bowl cuts my finger that afternoon. And then I'm rushed to the ER to help because it's pretty bad. And then after getting stitches and stuff, and after the inspection, they just said, like, I was fine for the most part. I could have severed a tendon, but it was close. It was just far enough away to just fine. So it's it's all good, but
Yeah, my dad, I just remembered this one time when I was in like 4th grade. He was out biking and he was biking at night. I think he had a pallet or something weird, but that he wanted to take home, so he put it on his bike. And then while doing this, he tipped over and hit his chin on the curb.
oh,
And it was at night, so he couldn't see anything. So he just got back up and biked home. And then when he got home, he realized he was covered in blood. And I just have this memory of seeing like half of my dad's I remember seeing the meat inside his chin because like there's nothing there.
yeah.
Yeah, and so we were all like, you two stay, like me and my sister stayed home, and my mom and dad just went to the doctor and like sewed his chin back together. Yeah.
So is there just like part of your dad's chin on the curb somewhere?
That's so gross.
Yeah, but it was really weird because I don't remember being scared, even though I was seeing into his face.
Yeah, it's kind of like hey, you have a thing
Yeah, you're
on
like,
your chin.
That's different. That's not.
You got eyelashes?
Yeah.
You look different than when you left. What happened?
And so he also had to get stitches. So for the next like months, he just couldn't shave. So he just had this like funny beard. Yeah. I think he
This is
dressed up.
funny, like little patch just around this.
Yeah, and I think he dressed up as Wolverine because he had this
Oh,
beard
that's awesome.
at the time. Yeah.
I had
For
his-
Halloween, not just for fun.
Just for fun, dresses up like Wolverine.
Yeah.
Goes out for another cycle. Right?
Yeah.
I had a similar experience on a crash, and I was just in a neighborhood at one point, hanging out with friends, and I ran into one of them around a corner.
Ran into one of your friends?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it was a blind corner, so it was hard to tell. But I ended up like breaking open my entire chin, and it was a really similar experience that I got sewn up that night, and it just sucked.
Yeah.
I don't think I left the house much then. Because, like, you guys like had issues. I like tripped in my driveway.
It's like kind of the same thing, just moving faster.
There's many times I should have died from being up in high places. Because, so me and my friend Oliver in 4th and 5th grade, there's these trees at the church across the street from my house. 45 feet tall before the branches get too thin to climb.
Like huge pine trees, basically.
Yeah, they're really big pine trees. They're taller than the church, and the church is really tall. TJ's getting a drink. I thought you were going to go look at the church.
I was staring at church.
Yeah, and so what we would do is we'd bike down to a gas station, grab food, and then bike back and eat the food in the top part of the tree. So we're just hanging out like 50 feet up in this tree eating food, and that's what we do every time. Or so I live right next to a mountain, so we'd bike up to the mountain and then climb up a like 40, how steep is that? 50 degrees?
40, 50 degrees.
40.
Like if it felt steep, it was probably 40 degrees.
Okay,
or
yeah,
more.
like something around 40 degrees. So you'd climb up that for like 50 feet where you're sliding down the whole time. And then you'd go around this little cliff, then climb up the cliff, and then you'd get to this like 5 foot by 5 foot little square plateau thing on top of the cliff above a 40-degree slope that runs out for like 200 feet to a trail.
Oh.
And that's just where we hung out.
Awesome.
Just in the most like precarious spots possible.
Yeah. And we'd get like 3 kids up there and all hang out in this like tiny square we had a tree and we'd put a little piece of paracord so you wouldn't fall off one of the edges. It wasn't a dish either. It was like gravel on this little slope. Yeah.
I remember doing that a lot with you. It was a lot of just like we would go into the woods and then just find spots to hang out and then eat food and then leave. That's what it was like most of the time.
I wish I grew up with you guys. That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
We had like a little fort in our neighborhood. My parents were always like, "Don't go in the tetanus like tree house," because they're like, all the kids who built that used nails and they're all gonna get tetanus. And so I was like, oh, the tetanus tree house.
The tennis tree house.
And then I would just go like run through the field of snakes. It would have been so much more fun to bike around with you guys.
Yeah, I've made so many forts in my life, just in the woods and like weird places.
But they're always like random, like just offshoots of a trail, like a pretty well-worn trail. And we just find this one spot and you're like, hey, why can't we just go this way? And then we find a little like clearing that's surrounded by trees and then just hang out there.
And we're like, home. This is home.
This is home. We'd also find like bones or random pieces of like ceramic and start like calling those our decorations and making a little pile of it. Like, it's kind of creepy.
Babies and all their bones.
They're mostly deer bones, but like it was just funny because like I'm looking back on it now and I'm like, that's really funny. Just like if you just walked upon that a tiny little area that looks like people just have like congregated there, and then this little pile of bones.
Yeah. I remember one fort. We found bones there, and we were like, oh, Fort Bone.
Fort Bone.
That's just what we called it forever.
Saw no issue.
Saw no issue with that name.
No issue at all. Yeah. We were weird children.
I remember you telling me, Finnegan, that one time you like biked home with like basically a tree or something.
Oh yeah, that was Fort Bone.
Yeah.
A park. So it was really windy. So these big like 5-foot tree branches fell off the tree, and because our fort was right next to main trail, we had to build this little blockade so people couldn't see us. Because it's weird when people watch you in your home. And so we picked up as many branches as we could carry and got them on the bike and then biked up a hill for like a mile or two and to help fortify our fort.
It's probably why you guys are so strong.
Yeah. Just kept carrying trees.
Biggest legs from just like biking across town all the time.
Yeah. There's another guy who did a similar thing where he trained for a marathon by carrying a fridge on his back.
I remember you mentioning that last week, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. Wait, did we talk about this already?
I think we did.
No, I don't think we did.
Oh, you want to mention it? Yeah, you should mention it still.
No, wait. Okay, we talked about the Tesla and Emu. No, we didn't talk about this article.
We didn't? I swear you mentioned it.
No, because we found it before we recorded.
Oh,
and
that's
then never
right.
brought it up.
And then we never brought it up. That's, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, marathon and a fridge.
Yeah. So, this guy was spotted by British police. Spotted and stopped by British police because he was running down the street with a refrigerator tied to his back.
Like a full size or like a mini fridge?
It looks like a pretty big fridge.
It's somewhere in between the two, and yeah, somewhere in between the two.
Pretty big.
Like studio apartment fridge.
Yeah. It's like mid back to a foot above his head, so like 4 feet by 3 feet,
give or take something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not big, but it's a fridge.
Yeah. And Fairbrother is the name of the guy who's running with the fridge. He was training for a London marathon where he would attempt to break the Guinness World Record for the fastest marathon run carrying a household appliance.
Why'd you choose a fridge? That's so heavy.
I don't know.
Just like packs like a toaster on his side or something.
Yeah, that's so much easier than a refrigerator.
Or like a speaker or something.
You were like your stand mixer.
Yeah. But the current world record is 2 hours and 4 minutes, which is incredibly fast.
What were they carrying though?
Yeah, it doesn't say.
That sucks.
Yeah.
2 hours and 4 minutes with like a butter knife.
Or they're out there with a dishwasher.
A running dishwasher.
Yeah.
Is your refrigerator running?
Oh. That's so funny.
a while.
It did. Big brain
That
out
little
here
pause
did
for a
not.
moment. It's like, ah.
There's gonna be silence in the podcast.
Yeah.
But he was actually doing this to raise money for his friend who has type 1 diabetes.
Oh, nice.
And so, let me see. He's raising money for a charity group for type 1 diabetes in the UK. That's all it says.
That's cool.
It doesn't say what that charity does or
Not
anything.
just for the clout of carrying the fridge.
No, yeah, not for the cloud of diabetes type 1.
No.
No, just I swear I think I mentioned this last week too, but it was something like taking the guy's fridge who has type 1 diabetes and just running with the guy's fridge.
Like Yzma carrying your friend with time.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think that's a world record? Is fastest marathon run carrying someone else?
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, you're literally carrying the team.
Just on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Your spine would be so compressed. You'd be like 3 inches shorter.
No, you just switch on occasions and then you just keep running.
But your legs would be 3 times as big.
Your spine condenses and it like makes your legs thicker.
That's what all the mass goes. It's just your legs.
Do you guys want to take a break?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Break time. It was a long pause.
This episode of Us Talking is brought to you by our email. Our email is theusshow12@gmail.com. Here you can send us listener mail, such as questions, comments, and concerns. Bye.
Welcome back from the ad read. Finnegan, you have a very interesting story for us.
I do. So this happened in sophomore year of high school. Okay, so the way the school is set up, there are these big red stairs that you could sit on. So like each stair was like a 3 foot tall by 3 foot wide section. So they're really seating. And so we'd go and eat lunch there every day. And there's a bathroom at the top of the stairs where we normally eat. So I got up to go to the bathroom, but when I did, there was like 5 kids who walked in before me. So I was like, you know what? I don't get paid enough to go interact with all these people.
In public school that you interact with these people.
Yeah. And so I went back and I sat down, and then like 3 kids left the bathroom. I guess like 5 kids left the bathroom. I was like, sweet, I should be good to go. So I got up and I went into the bathroom. The bathroom is 3 stalls and 2 or 3 urinals. The whole area where all the stalls were was flooded with like an inch of water, and the water wasn't just like clear, it was black. Like you couldn't see the ground through it. And there was one
Our school is like 100 years old.
Yeah, it used to be
It got built like when our town existed.
Yeah,
Like when it
it's-
started existing.
old.
Yeah. And there was one kid in there, and we both like locked eyes, and we went, "What the fuck?" I just left. But so there was a drain in the middle, and I think instead of draining the water was coming out of the drain.
That makes sense.
Oh no, what happened was I looked, there was one stall that wasn't flooded, and I opened it, and the whole thing was full of a lunch tray. Like someone just threw their lunch tray in that one working stall.
What?
Floor started leaking.
The floors are leaking.
Yeah. And so I was like, it's fine. There's a bathroom like 1 story down. So I walk down, and I open the door, and this bathroom smelled so bad. Because someone, instead of peeing in like one of the various places you're supposed to pee, they just peed on the floor. And it had been like fermenting all day. And so it smelled just like
I remember that.
fermented pee, and I had to walk around the pee puddle. I was like, you know what? At least I won't get like poltergeist on my shoes from the floor. And so while I was peeing in one of the stalls, someone came in and threw up in the trash can and then left before I got out of the stall. And so I got out, like washed my hands, took out a paper towel, threw it on top of the vomit, and went back to my seat and ate the rest of my lunch.
Yeah, how did you eat the rest of that? That is so terrible.
Well, there's like, so Finnegan went into the first bathroom and I'm like, wow, you came back so fast. And then they were like, there's just like glue, like not glue. There's like goo just like streaming down the entire bathroom. I'm like, that's great. So they went downstairs and then they came back and they're like, I hate it here. It was like them being like mildly upset to being like, I want to go home. I don't like school.
Because the school leaked black goo, pissed on me, and then threw up next to me.
It's just like, I don't want to be here anymore. This is hell. This is torture.
Like, so done. Yeah. So many bathrooms at our school leak though, because sometimes you're just chilling and then somebody flushes the toilet next to you, and then like a stream of water comes out from like under that toilet, just like, and then just like streams across the floor in front of you.
That's funny.
I have numerous videos of this happening.
You took videos of this?
Yeah, where I'm like, oh, there comes the puddle, and it's just like, just through the stall that I'm in.
My favorite one, I walked into the bathroom and there were two sinks. One was dripping, like leaking a steady stream onto the floor, and the other one was on when I came in and was on when I left. I couldn't turn it off.
Yeah. School's old.
Is it just like the buttons and stuff that you press and they're supposed to turn off after a certain period of time?
Get stuck, yeah.
And I even tried to like pull the button up to stop it, and it wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, bitch. This is not what I'm doing today.
There's also one time, I don't remember if it was sophomore or junior year, but they were like, we're going to do lead testing for the school. And then like we
lead testing?
Our school's that old, yeah. Like for the water and stuff. Because like a lot of it has been renovated. So I think they just like testing to be safe. And then they never released any results of it, but then there was just one drinking fountain that has been turned off since. Like, it got turned back on, like, a month ago or something like that. But
funny,
it was just off for, like, a year, and we're like, yeah, that's probably the lead. Probably the lead in our school.
They're like, hey, like, parents calling in, just like, hey, my kid has had, like, some accounts of lead poisoning, according to, like, this doctor, and they're like, okay.
Yeah,
and they start doing this lead testing, and they're like, they don't release the results, but they're like, let's just turn this one off.
That's great.
And so that drinking fountain was turned off. I think a few others were, and two of the bathrooms were closed.
Yeah, it was
That's
all
funny.
those upstairs bathrooms, the one that was leaking that Finnegan went into. Those three, it's like a bathroom, the drinking fountain, and then the other bathroom all in a row. They were all just closed for like a month. It was great.
Specifically the lead area that they just were like,
yeah,
nope.
Lead and flooding.
Flooding.
Yeah.
And peeing and vomiting.
Peeing and vomiting. Yeah. Poop and throw up and screaming.
Blood.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have any good public
Sorry.
Ew.
Do you have any good public bathroom stories, DJ?
No, the worst, it's like, I guess the best way to describe it for nobody who understands like what it is just like a very preppy, like white kid high school.
It's like 7 years old. It's like pretty new.
It's basically brand spanking new as compared to the other schools here. But yeah, it's a brand new, basically a brand new building. And like the worst thing we've had is somebody like carving like a penis drawing into like the side of the stall door. But then the funny thing is they'll close off that entire bathroom and then like replace the entire wall of that stall for like, and it takes them 3 days to do this. So there's just one bathroom with like, and it's weird because there's like certain sections of the building that have like a male and female bathroom. And I don't know, it's strange because there's only like just the pair of them in like certain areas of the school, but there's only like, I'm trying to think, like maybe 6 total pairs. And so like when you're on your route to your class and you're like, there's a convenient bathroom, like on my way there. You know what I mean? It's usually that bathroom that's closed off. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is so stupid. Because like walking anywhere else to any other bathroom is just, it takes so much time to do. But I don't understand why they take the vandalism so seriously in the bathrooms. Yeah. It's just like, just leave it open and just replace the stall door.
Yeah,
just close off just that one stall.
In my middle school, that happened where got kicked out, so they sent them to my school, and then she was on like a thing where like if anything happened, you get kicked out again. And then somebody like wrote all over one of the stalls in the girls' bathroom, and they took away our bathroom privileges, and I think they suspended her.
Oh,
so we had
Jesus.
to, but like we couldn't go in the elementary school bathrooms when the elementary schoolers were there because we're all like they're like 5 and we're like 14, and so that was too many people. and so they'd be like, you can't go down there, and we're like, but you took away our bathroom because like it was one stall and they just closed it.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Whereas the school we go to right now, they renovated half of it, so like half of it's like nice and pretty new, and then the art department, which is photography, painting, drawing, and ceramics, are all in the old basement. Which has one stairwell up and down, which is like a whole nother story. But because all the art kids are down there, that bathroom just gets graffitied all the time, but with like really good art.
Yeah.
See, that's worth it though. And it's in the art department, so it's perfect.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like you'll walk in and be like, that's a nice mural. And then like you'll be
Yeah. See, that's what I've heard. Okay, Finnegan brought me into the boys' bathroom down there one time because it was like I can't remember. It was way after school. We were there late, and I'm just like, I want to see the art in there. But like the boys' bathroom is cool, and then the girls' bathroom is just tampons stuck to the ceiling, and look at the trickle from the toilet that's leaking.
Wait, like wet tampons just thrown up there?
Yeah,
or just...
because schools are like they're being nice and just like having free ones, and kids are just like, I know what to do with this, and they just get them wet and then just like throw them onto the ceiling. So it's
Imagine
like
that,
20
got it by
tampons.
the string or something, just like throwing it around the head, just sticking it to the wall.
Yeah, it's awesome. So our ceiling is just like mutant with like tampon strings.
yeah. We could soak up the toilet water, the toilet making water, and throw it out.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Like
And
the worst
sinks are-
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the sinks are also always full of like Cheeto bags. I don't know why. People are just like
Weird.
hanging out in the bathroom eating Cheetos all the time.
Why the bathroom? That's such a
That's
gross
so
spot to have
gross.
the bathroom.
Yeah.
And like just eating food.
Yeah, I don't know if your school does this. Our bathrooms are always vape scented now. Like they are
They
constant.
smell really good.
Ooh, strawberries today.
Yeah. Like we came back from winter break, first hour, so it had been an hour of school being open. I went in there and it already smelled like vape.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
smells like the juicy fruit gum. I don't know if that's like an actual like vape flavor,
like,
but
no, I see what you mean. Like I've been
Yeah.
around like a few vapes before, and it's been like they're just very like fruity tones most of the time.
yeah, big fan of juicy fruit bathroom in comparison to like vomit bathroom.
That's true.
So good.
Yeah, it's better than
Vape
fermented
bathroom or
pee.
vomit bathroom? Definitely vape bathroom.
Yeah, it smells like candy in there compared to actually awful.
That okay? That sounds nice, but like I don't know, it's just,
I don't like why
Vapes
it
suck.
smells like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I prefer it over.
I hear
other
a
things.
lot of stories about like people going in the bathrooms or wandering off campus during lunch and then vaping. But like never, I don't know, my school's weirdly strict about like I mean I get it. It's drugs and it's smoking and it's all this stuff that they are like they're cracked down on. But like I don't know, maybe they're overdoing it in my mind because it's not that big of a deal to me because
Yeah.
most of the time they just leave off campus and they just go
Yeah.
vape
Yeah.
in their car or something. So
Yeah, because
Anyway.
so when I went to for my freshman year, I knew like one kid, and she was like, "Do you want to just hotbox in the bathroom with me?" And she just was like, "I have weed in my backpack," and I'm like, "Why are you telling me this? I'm 12 and no."
yeah.
And then I found out later. So my sister had the psychology class,
Oh.
and they bring in drug dogs to that class. Happened to be the same day that kid was like, "Want to like smoke weed in the school?" I'm like, "No, I'm good," but they'll find you.
That's terrifying.
Yeah,
I will
it's
find
pretty
you.
awesome.
And I will kill you.
Yeah.
The drug dog, they feed you to
You
the
might
drug
know
dog.
her. I think she might work, or she used to work at the same place you work at now. Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember my sister would come home like consistently from middle school and be like, yeah, someone had weed, but they'd hide it in like weird places, like in deodorant. They'd carve out the middle section, put the weed in there.
Watching 5-minute crafts.
Like instead of like what was it like instead of stuffing like Cheetos down like a deodorant bottle, a clean deodorant bottle, they stuff weed in it.
Yeah.
That's what 5 minutes craft is for.
So they like unscrew it, take out the like little nugget of weed and be like, look at this.
Guys, look.
Yeah,
Your school is wild.
it
too.
is wild.
So wild. High school is just crazy, dude.
That was middle school.
Those-
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember just like through the grapevine hearing about all the stuff going on at your school, and I was just like, oh my goodness, am I gonna go to high school with these kids?
Yeah, like when we lit we had so many trash can fires that like
In middle
And I
school,
would
we
just
had
be like,
so many.
another one? What are they doing? thing, and then I would like go to math class.
Like one of them, I was in the portables, which was outside of the main school building. So they didn't call us, they didn't give us like a fire warning or anything. Like we just kept teaching class. And I walked into the hallway by the gym and it was just covered in ash.
You're like, hey, what happened here?
Something, and people are like, that was crazy. I was like, what?
Like, what was it?
What was crazy?
What are you talking
That
about?
happens with the seminary buildings at the high school too. And like the seminary building is so close, but there just will be fire drills and then we'll be like, huh? Like what's going on? They had like a lockdown drill one time, which like we should participate in because that keeps happening.
Here comes
and then
another
we're
trash
just
fire.
like teaching the Bible while everyone else is like ducking and covering in the classrooms.
Perks of being off campus.
Yeah.
I guess.
Do we do endorsements now?
Do you have any more stories that you want to go over?
Do I have more stories? I have my food poisoning airplane story.
I want to hear about that one.
We're talking a lot about gross things today.
Oh yeah, this
This is definitely like the icky podcast.
yeah, we have to get it out all at once.
Yeah.
Just like the kid in the stall.
That's what I was gonna say.
Sorry, the kid on the drain. So one night, my family got Buffalo Wild Wings for dinner, and I got boneless teriyaki chicken Buffalo Wild Wings, and I ate those, and no one else in my family ate them because, like, yeah. And the next morning at like 5, I woke up with the tummy rumblings, the
tummy rumbles.
the leading suspicion that something is off. And
Could it be the chicken? Who knows?
and so I had food poisoning, like pretty bad food poisoning for the rest of that day. And while I was laying on the ground being like feeling awful in the way you do with food poisoning, my dad put on this movie called Airplane for me. I'll show you the cover art for it.
It's just called Airplane.
It's just called Airplane.
Oh, it's just an airplane
I've
tied
seen
in
that
a knot.
movie.
Yeah.
With
It's
like
a terrible
nacho
movie.
libre.
Have you seen that? Okay, so the premise of the movie, it's like a Dumb and Dumber style where like nothing makes sense and it's like all unhinged and like
Think of like the worst mushroom trip
Yeah.
anybody could ever go on.
yeah, like there's a scene where someone needs a heart transplant and the doctors can't give them the heart because it's just jumping around the room, still beating. And I watched this movie with terrible food poisoning.
Yeah.
And so that's all I remember in this haze of like sickness. And it's just like weird clips from this movie and like not being awake and
Have you seen it since?
no. Maybe that's the next episode is me rewatching Airplane.
Rewatching
Yeah.
Airplane. We should watch Airplane together and just see how it goes for you.
That would be really funny.
You'll just like start the tummy rumblings again.
Guys,
That
my
would feel
tumbles
so well.
be rumbling.
So I endorse watching Airplane with food poisoning and a broken arm.
Yeah, specifically with food poisoning. Please go get chicken wings from Buffalo Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That was
Yeah,
good.
it wasn't the same, but we also had a dog who ate one of the bone chicken wings. So there's a bone in it, and the dog just ate the whole thing. And we were like, what? And either the dog just digested the bone, or it was the one boneless one in the whole thing because it just did not affect it later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
One time, my chicken ate a piece of tape. so we like we're doing like history fair projects. So we all had boards outside, but my sister had to spray paint hers, and it had tape on it. And one of the chickens just like ate a whole piece of tape. And so like later we were just like, oh no, it's dying because there's like something stuck to it. We're like, oh, it's like parasite or like something like intestines. And then later we like looked at it closer and we're like, yeah, that's tape. And then just ate like it was probably like a good 6 inches of tape, and then just digested it
Scotch
all, and it
tape?
was like totally fine. Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah.
Well, Scotch tape is like papery, yeah?
Yeah, it was like all intact though. It
Oh.
was super weird, and so we're just like, well, like
Man-made
I guess you're
polymers, guys.
fine. Yeah, it was
It's
like,
so fake, it's not harmful.
yeah, it was so weird.
it's gotten so fake to the point that you'll just pass right through.
Yeah, it doesn't even go in your stomach. Just
No,
like,
but it just passes right through.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Bypasses it.
What?
It just bypasses your stomach.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Do you have any other chicken stories? Because I feel like we have a lot.
Sure I do.
Chickens.
Oh,
man.
we had chickens and ducks. And so I lived a lot more in the mountains when I was really little, when I had a lot more chickens and stuff like that. And our chickens like could walk in the snow, but they would get kind of stuck. And our ducks were like, they were so waddly that their like bodies were so close to the ground, they would like make these little paths by just like waddling around.
Dragging their stomachs across.
Yeah, basically. And so they would just like make paths all around our entire yard in like the 2 feet of snow. And then like the paths would just keep existing, so all the chickens and stuff would follow. And so our ducks would just be like forging all these paths, and our chickens would just follow them.
Oh, that's
It was
so
awesome.
fun.
It was
That's
really
awesome.
cute.
That'd be a really fun time lapse.
Yeah, it was.
Just watching like these paths slowly form in
Yeah.
2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
By
there's-
chickens and ducks.
There was one spring, we have like irrigation ditches, so like houses don't flood and stuff like that. And so much snow had melted that like one of them got like pretty full of water, so we had a lake.
Oh, nice.
And I picked up one of my ducks and like hid it in my coat. I like zipped it into my jacket, and its like little head was just sticking out. And then I just like took it over there, and they swam around, and then I put it back in my coat, and then walked back to my house. That was that was a common occurrence for me.
Baby Emmy with like the same size duck as you, I'm sure.
Seriously, it was like
Walking around, just
my
like-
whole torso of me just like carrying a giant duck. It was awesome.
Sounds delightful.
That's way cool.
Now endorsements?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to endorse. I keep forgetting to do these.
Okay.
Mine segues so well.
Yeah, do you want to start us off with endorsements,
Yeah.
Emmy?
My endorsement is to own chickens. I highly endorse owning chickens. They're the best pets ever because they have little personalities. And when
Just
they're
their own
teeny, when they're teeny tiny, they're like 2 inches tall, and then they just sound like tiny little laser guns. So we put them in our garage, and there's just like a box of them, and they're like pew 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 pew. Yeah, and then they're like perfect when they're medium size, and
Nice.
they make eggs, and eggs are like a thing you can eat, and you can make more chickens from them, and their poop's really good fertilizer. It made our garden like actually mungus.
Nice.
Yeah, so I endorse owning chickens, and like a lot of them.
Yeah, me and TJ have a mutual friend that their chicken coop was right next to their garden, so they could lift up this gate and the chickens would just wander between the two when they didn't have like garden stuff there and fertilize everything.
That's
It
wonderful.
was a smart idea. Yeah.
Yeah, when we moved our chicken coop, we were like replanting plants over there, and we're like, whoa, these are like the healthiest plants I've ever seen. They grew like so fast.
That's way cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my endorsement this week is a Sonicare vibrating toothbrush. So, how this works is it has the vibrating base, kind of, with this little nub on top that shakes the toothbrush head. So you put the toothbrush head on, and it shakes that, and you brush your teeth. And then when it gets all, like, flayed and bad, you can throw just the toothbrush head away and buy a new one that clips on. So me and my sister have been using the same Sonicare toothbrush for the last 10 years, I think.
Oh, impressive.
It's really impressive. And so we'll just switch the heads so we don't share the actual brush. We just share
Yeah.
the like vibrating body, and it has its own 2-minute timer, and it's really nice.
Yeah, the cool thing about that little, like, I guess, science-y bit about that, the science-y fun facts, is the whole point to why it vibrates at the same frequency plaque that, like, the same natural frequency plaque is. So the whole, like, the point behind it is to vibrate the plaque off your teeth and off your own gums, so it'll reach better into smaller cracks between your teeth itself and between your gums.
Wait, what do you mean the natural frequency of plaque?
So everything has a very, like, weirdly a natural frequency.
Oh, to
So-
like dissolve it?
No, just it vibrates at.
Oh.
So, like, if you just, a fun experiment me and my brother did with this is if you take a speaker and you go and Google, like, a frequency pitch video of some sort, and all it does is just play a sound, and you take your speaker and you just press it up against a wall. At some point when it reaches a certain, like, I think it's frequency, or it's hertz, it's one of the two.
Hertz is volume, frequency is wavelength.
So it's frequency.
Yeah.
So it would be frequency then. So when it reaches a certain frequency, the walls themselves will start vibrating, and this is what a lot of shower speakers will will do. Shower speakers will make the walls themselves vibrate because you can pull the speaker itself off and it doesn't sound like it sounds terrible. Like it's terrible audio quality. And so you put it on the wall itself and it'll resonate the sound it's making through the walls.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's just that's the same thing with Sonicare toothbrushes. I've had like different. Mine keep breaking weirdly.
Did not last the 10 years.
No, it did not last 10 years. We're also terrible at keeping care of them because I keep dropping mine. That's probably why. But like that's the whole point behind like why it vibrates. It's not so much as just so it just shakes. It's more of to shake things off of your teeth.
Wow, I double endorse this.
And then you don't have to floss ever.
Well, flossing, I would definitely encourage flossing, but I am no dentist myself, so.
Two dentists and an editor. A new podcast name.
Go change that.
Yeah. What's your endorsement? TJ?
Yeah, I endorse. Shoot.
We can pause for a second if you want.
Yeah, we should pause for a second. Do you want to pause the
Everyone
audio?
gets in like a relaxed. No, don't put because then I have to sync it. Sometimes when I'm editing, it will actually. I'm going to. Sometimes when I'm editing, one of our phones will pause for a second and then get all echoey, so I have to go in and like realign the audio. It's really weird.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It only happens like once in a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What's something you've done recently?
Oh, I would highly endorse. Highly endorse? Did you properly use that word?
I think endorse is just a synonym for recommend.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I endorse recreational drone flying or piloting. I really got into it like years ago, but I finally started doing something with it, and I finally got my Part 107, which is just a FAA, not FAA. What am I saying? FFA. No, that's Future Farmers. I had it right the first time.
I get my future farmer's license.
I'm now required to own cows.
I now can legally own cows.
I own chickens.
The Part 107 is just an FAA, which stands for the Federal Aviation Administration, and it's just part of the U.S. Department of Transportation. And it's just a license you can purchase, or not purchase, what am I saying? Go through a test, spend some money, and if you pass the test, you're like legally capable of making money off of flying drones.
Oh, cool.
So good fun. And one thing that got me really into it was recreational drone flying. So I went out and bought like these little tiny little drones from Holy Stone, and they're just, I don't remember the model name, but they're really, really tiny quadcopters that you can just fly in your house just for fun. And it's just that's one of the things that got me into it, and I've enjoyed it ever since. So yeah.
Oh, fun.
Drones.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good endorsement.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, this has been the 4th episode of us talking.
Thanks again for listening.
Yeah.
We really
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having me on.
Oh,
Yeah, thanks for coming, by the way.
Our second guest, the first guest that isn't Sammy Gibson.
You should say that every time. The third guest, who isn't Emmy Mono or Sammy Gibson.
Oh yeah, so each episode the list just gets longer
Yeah.
and longer and never includes Gavin.
No.
Oh boy.
We'll be back next Friday.
Yeah, we'll see you then.